हमारा सौभाग्य है कि आज हमारे बीच माननीय केंद्रीय स्वास्थ्य एवं परिवार कल्याण मंत्री श्री जेपी नड्डा उपस्थित हैं। आपका हार्दिक स्वागत है। We welcome Honorable State Health Minister of Maharashtra, Dr. Deepak Sawant, and Honorable Minister of State for Health, Professor Ram Shinde ji. The Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Devendra Fadnavis, is unable to join us today because of unavoidable circumstances and sends his best wishes for the launch of this campaign. हमारी खुशनसीबी है कि मशहूर व मारूफ अभिनेता श्री अमिताभ बच्चन हेपेटाइटिस बी संबंधित इस जागरूकता अभियान में प्रमुख भूमिका निभा रहे हैं और आज हमारे प्रोग्राम में शरीक हैं। आपका तहे दिल से खैर मक़दम है। आप सभी अमिताभ जी की शख्सियत से वाकिफ़ हैं, पर आज वो कुछ अपने ऐसे अनुभव सुनाएंगे जिनसे शायद सब वाकिफ़ ना हों। We look forward to that. We also have with us Mr. Louis George Arsenault, UNICEF representative to India. A warm welcome to you and to Shri C.K. Mishra, Additional Secretary and MD, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, and to Dr. Jayant Barve, Senior Gastroenterologist, Leelavati Hospital and Research Center. सबसे पहले मैं आमंत्रित करती हूँ हमारे माननीय केंद्रीय स्वास्थ्य एवं परिवार कल्याण मंत्री श्री जेपी नड्डा जी को कि वो इस अवसर पर परंपरागत दीप प्रज्वलित करें और मंच पर उपस्थित सभी वरिष्ठ अतिथियों से मेरा निवेदन कि वो इस कार्य में सम्मिलित हों।
ओम श्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं ग्लौं गं गणपतये वरवरद सर्वजनं मे वशमानय स्वाहा। ओम श्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं ग्लौं गं गणपतये वरवरद सर्वजनं मे वशमानय स्वाहा। ओम श्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं ग्लौं गं गणपतये वरवरद सर्वजनं मे वशमानय स्वाहा। तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मंत्री महोदय और वरिष्ठ अतिथिगण। आज हम यहाँ इकट्ठा हुए हैं हेपेटाइटिस बी जैसी मुज़िर बीमारी के बारे में जागरूकता बढ़ाने के लिए। भारत में हर साल 10 लाख बच्चे इस बीमारी के शिकार हो सकते हैं। हेपेटाइटिस बी और ऐसी 7 बीमारियों से 2.5 करोड़ बच्चों और 3 करोड़ गर्भवती महिलाओं की सुरक्षा के लिए भारत सरकार ने यूनिसेफ की तकनीकी सहायता के साथ अपना प्रमुख अभियान मिशन इंद्रधनुष आरंभ किया है, जो अब अपने दूसरे चरण में है। उत्तर प्रदेश इज वन ऑफ द critical priority states under the Mission Indradhanush, and we know that Shri Amitabh Bachchan, our UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, hails from the famous city of Allahabad in UP. हमें खुशी है कि इलाहाबाद और इसके करीबी इलाक़ों के पत्रकार और मीडिया वीडियो फीड के ज़रिए हमारे कार्यक्रम से जुड़े हैं, उनका खैर मक़दम है। I take this opportunity to thank Mr. Deepak Dwivedi from the Nagrik Foundation, our partner agency, who have made this video feed with UP possible. And now I would like to invite Mr. Louis George Arsenault, UNICEF representative to India, to enlighten us on UNICEF's efforts to support complete routine immunization program. Shri Arsenault. B immunization awareness with the films Confessions from Amitabh Bachchan. We present our Honorable Union Minister with the DVDs of these films and also to our dignitaries present on the dais. And I must say this is a fabulous photo opportunity for all our friends from the media. Make the most of that. Yeah, after this. Yeah. So here we have the DVDs. which officially launched the awareness campaign. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the two films. इसे कि वो हम सबको मुखातिब करें.
आदरणीय नारा जी, दीपक सावंत जी, राम शिंदे जी, distinguished guests on the dais, distinguished guests in the audience, the members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, I deem it a great honor to be here today, to be able to bring this campaign to its initial stages of a launch through the media on awareness of this deadly disease called hepatitis B. Now that you've seen the film, I guess a lot of what I needed to say has already been said, but I want to go back to what Dr. Barve in his address had said and mentioned about a dear friend of his being infected by this, keeping in mind the very nature of doctor's medical code. He refrained from taking the name, but actually he was wanting to mention my name. And I thank him for his professionalism. And hepatitis B, as I said in my film, came to me by accident. During the time of my accident in Coolie in 1982, there were about 200 donors whose blood was taken to be infused into me. And the Australian antigen hepatitis B had just perhaps 3 months ago been detected worldwide, and it was very new, and perhaps it was new for being detected also amongst various tests that were needed to be carried out before giving somebody blood. And therefore, one of the donors was carrying the hepatitis B virus, which went into my system. I continued to function as normally as I would. And in the year 2000, after 1982, in the year 2000, almost 18 years after that event, through a very normal and regular medical checkup that Dr. Barve, who's our family physician, and me went through, we discovered that indeed my liver had been infected and that I had lost 75% of my liver. So if I stand in front of you today, you're looking at a person who is surviving only on 25% of his liver. That's the bad part. The good part is that you can survive with even perhaps 12% of your liver. But really, no one wants to get into that kind of a condition. The important thing is that it's a very frightening phrase to use on somebody when you say that he's suffering from cirrhosis of liver, because cirrhosis of liver is normally associated with alcohol. I am a non-alcoholic. But to have this stigma of being suffering from cirrhosis of the liver is quite frightening. And when Dr. Barve treated me, and we went through various tests, and we found that luckily, as fate has always been with me in several of my other ailments, there had been a sort of a remission, which meant that the virus had stopped eating into my liver, and having devoured 75% of it, it was showing some kind of mercy on the balance 25%. We went through a medical course, and I have to say here that during all my ailments and my medical history that I've had, I have always relied on the medical profession in my own country. I know that I have been in situations where I've had the means to be able to get treated abroad, but it has been my faith and trust in the medical profession and the doctors of India that I have always put my faith in, and I'm very proud of the fact that they've always done a marvelous job. So I want to congratulate them. Having said that, when we discovered this ailment, we found out also that we were in remission, but Now and then, I must admit that we have been going abroad to have a second opinion, so to say. We went to some medical institutes in the United States of America, and I have to say that whatever diagnosis and the treatment that was being commanded to me by Indian doctors was no different from what the American doctors or doctors in any other part of the world were administering. That is another credit to our medical profession. And so we came back. There are some drugs which I have to take regularly to prevent the further appearance of this virus in my system. But what I want to say really is that we had the good fortune of going through a test which detected this disease. And as Dr. Barve very rightly said that, there are almost 100 people here, and he's pretty certain that at least 2 or 3 of you, God forbid, are perhaps carrying this virus within you and are unaware of it. Awareness, ladies and gentlemen, is a very important factor in any one of these diseases. If we are unaware of what you're carrying, you can come to a stage where it becomes too late. And that is very devastating, and we must prevent that. And which is why Dr. Barve and a few of his colleagues came to me one morning, and we decided that we must do something about this. We set up a meeting with the Honorable Minister, Mr. Nada, and I must thank him for very graciously giving us an audience and listening to our issues, and almost immediately setting up a system where he not only accepted what we were saying, but designed a campaign which would take care of not just hepatitis B, but as we all know, the government of India has launched the Indradhanush campaign, which is the massive inoculation program that the government of India stresses upon, and hepatitis B is also included in that. So I want to really thank you, sir, for having taken our little plea to you and having put it into practice. I want to say that during the time when we worked for polio under UNICEF, it took us almost 8 years to get India completely free of polio. Today, India is polio-free, and it took us 8 years for this campaign to succeed. We went through many struggles, we went through many problems. I hope that we don't take the same amount of time for hepatitis B or for tuberculosis, which I work for. But really, the point to make here is that some initiative has to be taken. And I want to thank the government of India, the government of Maharashtra, for having agreed to take this initiative on a massive scale and continue to work towards it so that in time to come, through the campaigns that you've just seen and several other efforts that the government is making and private companies are making, we will be able to make perhaps our country a healthier place to live in. When we talk about detection, when we talk about finding out whether any of you is carrying this disease, the one person that I really want to acknowledge are the workers that will go out into the fields to actually carry out this job. I know that the polio-free campaign had the backing of UNICEF, had the backing of all the states of this country, all the chief ministers cooperated. There was a voice, there were several people who I tagged along with me. We had Sachin Tendulkar come on for one of the campaigns, we had Shah Rukh Khan coming on for one of the campaigns, Aishwarya Rai came on for one of the campaigns. But we continued this process. And despite all the famous names and the efforts of the government of India and UNICEF, it was the worker that had to actually go into the deepest corners of our country to work and administer this dose. And I want to compliment the workers. So therefore, when we do start this campaign, Honorable Ministers, I would want you to perhaps pay a lot of special interest to the workers that will go out into the fields and work in this campaign, because they are the only and truly people who actually go and make sure that the campaign works, that it is spread out, it goes out to people. And if need be, if you can organize something, I'd be very happy to meet them and, give them my compliments and acknowledge that the work that they keep doing. I want to also state that we are all somehow or the other not conscious of the fact about our health. I know that there are various factors that keep us away, but detection, awareness is a very important ingredient in any kind of disease that you possess. Please do not hesitate to have your regular checkups. There are now various facilities available through hepatitis B, through tuberculosis, and the Honorable Minister, Shri Deepak Sawant, has just informed me while we were sitting in the ante-room about malnutrition. And sir, I want to commit myself to this very noble cause that you're starting, and say that if you need my face and if you need my voice to propagate this campaign, I shall be more than happy to join you and see what we can do towards this very important matter. So do not hesitate to get yourself detected. I also promote diabetes through Mr. Keith Vaz, who is a Member of Parliament in the House of Commons in the United Kingdom, and we've done several inaugurations of vans which go out into interiors of India, and of course in the United Kingdom, detecting people of diabetes. It's just a very small little test, but that's the point that we need to stress. It's no point coming after you've been actually diagnosed with the disease and reached a stage where perhaps there is no way to come back. But if you have yourself detected, there are ways and means in which you can be cured. One of the leading examples is right now talking to you. I was detected in time. I took the precautionary measures, both in tuberculosis and in hepatitis B. Even in tuberculosis, as you all know, I'm a tuberculosis survivor as well. In the year 2000, I was also detected with tuberculosis, and we were able to detect it in time, and we went through an entire course with Dr. Barwe, and today I'm now tuberculosis free. Do get yourself detected. Please, with folded hands to the media, to propagate this message across. And this is why we're having a special conference today, so that you're able to propagate this campaign to as many people as possible. Do not be afraid to get yourself detected. It's better to be in the knowledge of the fact that you are carrying some deadly virus and have a treatment for it than to ignore it and then perhaps, God forbid, face a bad finality. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for the very kind words that the speakers before me have been saying. But really, this is something extremely close to my heart, primarily because I feel that I need to tell the people that if it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. And that is, I'm speaking out of great immodesty here, I know, but I just feel that if there is a face and a voice to something like this, and if that face and voice is also a sufferer, then it makes our communication a lot easier. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amitabh ji. Thank you for your constant support to all the health campaigns. You are an inspiration for us. सचमुच सेहत बहुत बड़ी नेमत होती है.
It can be a part of the story which has been very interestingly done in most of our stories. And we've shown in the end that, yes, there is success.
मेरे